Internal migration occurs within the boundaries of a country. Often unable to sustain themselves in rural backlands, people all over the world continue to move to large urban areas hoping to find a better life. All too often they live out their days in poor, congested, and diseased slums while attempting to achieve what is usually beyond their reach. External migration is movement from one country to another. Such migration may be voluntary, people seeking better conditions and opportunities, but all too often it may be involuntary, forced, or imposed. People who have been taken as slaves or prisoners or driven from their homelands by war, political unrest, religious persecution, or environment disasters. Just as people have various reasons for geographical relocation, people also relocate spiritually. Internal spiritual migration may include a shift from one church or denomination to another. External migration may include a shift from one religion to another, or moving away from religion altogether. Wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined. In a random sampling of over 2,000 people during a 2-year period, the Barna Research Group first asked respondents to identify their childhood faith and then asked them to identify their current faith. 1 out of 4 people had changed from Catholic to Protestant or vice versa, while 1 out of 8 people identified themselves as atheist, agnostic, or some other faith, having given up on Christianity altogether. Some respondents explained their reasons, such as life experiences or gaining new knowledge or education, while other respondents felt as though their spiritual migrations were involuntary, forced, or imposed, explaining that they were feeling disillusioned with the church and religion, feeling the church is hypocritical, having negative experiences in churches, and other reasons. Sheep shuffling may take place because of a deeply entrenched and growing disconnect between church leadership and congregations. Currently, in traditional Christian churches, the average churchgoer has no opportunity to address negative experiences, institute change, or call for conflict resolution. Instances of injustice or objections to policy must first pass through the filter of the leadership, who decide whether it ought to be addressed, and if the problem might make leadership look bad, it is most often excused or ignored behind closed doors, or only addressed if the congregation finds out about it. The instructions Jesus gave for conflict resolution in the church are as follows, from Matthew 18:15 through 17, Young's literal translation. And if thy brother may sin against thee, go and show him his fault between thee and him alone. If he may hear thee, thou didst gain thy brother. And if he may not hear, take with thee yet 1 or 2, that by the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 every word may stand. And if he may not hear them, say to the assembly, and if also the assembly he may not hear, let him be to thee as the heathen man and the tax gatherer. So why does this model not work in today's megachurch environment? Anthropological principles can be used to demonstrate what might be causing this approach to fail. Egalitarian societies are societies in which everyone has about equal rank, access to, and power over basic resources. Typical of small food foraging societies where people have ample and balanced diets. Their material possessions are limited, but so is their desire to amass things. Plenty of leisure time to concentrate on family, social, and spiritual development. Evidence of classless societies, graves, were simple pits with few grave goods, demonstrating equal status. Stratified societies were societies in which people are hierarchically divided and ranked into social strata, or layers, and do not share equally in basic resources that support survival, influence, and prestige. Typical of larger, more economically diverse societies. Longer work hours, less leisure time, greater emphasis placed on the acquisition of material possessions. Evidence of class. Graves varied from simple pits to elaborate size with precious grave goods, according to status. In some cases, slaves were killed and buried with their masters. Jesus' conflict resolution instructions are based on the egalitarian church, where everyone has equal rank. Jesus included the heathen and the tax collector in social activities with equal worth as others. The fact that the instructions do not account for a stratified church ought to speak volumes to those who are willing to address religious intolerance from every angle. Either Jesus' instructions were worthless, or the system itself is invalid. The religious elite glaringly disapproved of Jesus' cross-cultural, boundary-breaking approach to ministry. Later, the Apostle Paul boldly rejected stratification, saying, "There is not here Jew or Greek. There is not here servant nor freeman. There is not here male and female, for all ye are one in Christ Jesus." The institution of church, whether its religious-minded members are able to see it, is a human construct, not only subject to, but modeled after cultural and social standards that were in place long before the advent of Christianity. The social tendency to confirm or deny status and privilege among individuals is correlated to population size and the need for governing authorities to come out and solve problems associated with an increase in numbers. And just as the social constructs of cities seemingly benefit the masses, these social constructs also create an environment of disease, pollution, crime, and other problems. People who subscribe to the clergy authority model in churches may defend the stratified church model by quoting the Apostle Paul, who established the idea that among church members there are the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, and the pastors and teachers. But was Paul really teaching stratification?